Hello listeners and welcome to episode 2 of TOT&HAM, the show where James and I talk about our favourite respective clubs, Tottenham and West Ham. How are you, mate?
I'm alright, mate. Better than you.
So, well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. You were expected to win, we were expected to lose. As always, we like to jibber jabber on about Tottenham and West Ham a little too much. So to take it out of the main podcast, we've launched Tot&HAM. Episode 1 was last week, and now we're here after having watched our teams at the weekend with episode 2.
Yeah, I want to rant about Spurs tactically.
You want to? Get it off your chest, go on. I can feel it.
So,
I can see it in your eyes.
I got home Saturday night, first thing wife said to me, you been shouting much? And I was like this, yeah, a little bit. Like, I let go. I was out of practice over 2 months without shouting in a football ground. The more my team needs me, the more I feel like I can contribute. I was frustrated when I watched the highlights of Match of the Day to hear Alan Shearer start straight away with Lucas, Lamela and Kane and their positioning. I thought, oh, good. He knows what I knew was the problem. And then never followed up on it.
You, when the lineup was announced, I worried a little bit because we both had armbands on Kane, right, for FPL, that there was not enough creativity in behind him to create opportunities for him. Well, Lucas isn't a bad player, but if he's more of a striker, he's more looking to get in himself than create for Kane. And on the other side, you had Lamela, who's not Eriksen. He's a good player, but he's not Eriksen. You haven't got Ali in there as well, and no Son. I feared for my captaincy of Kane.
The problem was, and this goes back, those who've been following sort of my Spurs updates during the summer on the podcast will know I'd said late on that I had a theory that there was planning in Germany for a 4-2-3-1 to be used against Villa and in the home games. And there was a plan for a 4-3-1-2, which is essentially not too far from a diamond, but with a very flat central midfield three for the away game at City. The problem was with the Eriksen situation, Son's suspension, and then Ali's injury, was 4-2-3-1 wasn't really viable unless he was going to start with Eriksen. So he started with the 11 I thought he'd want to start with and went with, but it was obvious an hour before kickoff that the setup was completely wrong the second I saw the Villa team. The Villa team came out and it was quite surprising to see Neil Taylor and El Mohammadi in the fullback positions rather than Target and Gilbert, who we thought were going to play there. And as soon as I saw that, I went, Jesus, they've got a massive weakness in the fullback areas and we're not going to expose it.
No wingers, no wide play.
Correct. So we started with Kane and Mora up front with Lamela in the hole. Now, dominated the ball completely. We had more of the ball in the first half than the second half.
Correct.
I'm sitting there at half time and it's depressing because really, other than the Kane header over the bar, we've had all the game, but Villa have played well and had looked a threat on the counter-attack.
Yep.
I'm sitting there half time thinking, this is shite. The old man went, oh, what's going on? And I said, to be honest, all we need to do is change the formation and we'll win the game. So what you do? So we need to get 2 people out wide, start threatening them.
Yep.
So there was 2 changes that happened. The first was that he changed the system based on the same personnel in the team. So he left, contrary to opinion, he left Lucas up front and he just moved Sissoko to the right wing basically and moved Lamela wide to the left. And it was basically an old-fashioned 4-4-2. Suddenly we had more control of the game and different options because we'd made the pitch bigger. But weren't overly threatening.
Sissoko's not a winger.
No,
his end product ball was a bit garbage.
Taylor is a sloppy fullback, so they could play it in behind him. Sissoko's great until he has to like think about what he's doing. Like, honestly,
yeah, he had a few shots and
he's a
where
beast.
He just rushed it.
If you look at where he broke for the 3rd goal and his stamina still at that stage of the game, about to go into injury time, that's the beast of the player he can be. Is he a fleet-footed winger who's going to do a step over and take his man? No, but just push it past and go. His delivery's going to be crap, but just his presence out there widened the pitch. And it allowed Ndombele and Winks to have a bit more space and not just be paying 5-10 yard passes to each other. The problem with Spurs quite often is when we play a narrow formation is we're so pedestrian. I've said when we play 4-2-3-1, we are so much more of an attacking threat. When Eriksen came on, Lucas then went to the right, Sissoko went back with Ndombele,
Yeah.
and we played 4-2-3-1. And for 20
Last
minutes,
15, 20 minutes
we
was a different team.
absolutely battered them. There was a point at 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, and they knew they were going to win. And I knew watching them they were going to win. They were playing one-touch football, and Ndombele was a different player once we went to 2 in midfield. He was like, oh, I've got to step up now. I've got to cover more ground. I would have taken him off at 1-1 rather than Winks. But once Winks went off, he really stepped up and was just so much more a threat. The creativity of Eriksen can't be understated. And it's still a massive worry going forward because I do still think he'll leave. But just playing that 4-2-3-1 system, so much better. And I had no fear going in the last 10 minutes. I could tell they knew on the pitch they had them by the bollocks.
Yeah. I had spent the first 75 minutes just deciding whether I was going to make my premeditated transfer from Harry Kane to Aubameyang because it just looked flat. And if Eriksen does leave, then I have concerns about Kane being my main man up top. Not because of Harry Kane, but because of the creativity in and around him. So I'd like to see some minutes of Lo Celso and stuff like that to see if there's any potential replacement there. And when Son does come back. But by the end of the game, Harry Kane's won himself about another 4 weeks of lifeline in my
Game's last
team,
90 minutes, right?
Yeah, Harry's Harry, right, at the end of the day. For the listeners who are not in the know with Spurs or what have you, where was Super Jan? Just dropped?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. So
he's your nailed-on starter in the back line.
Other than him not playing, the team was exactly what I'd predicted it would be.
What happened to him?
No injury.
Yeah.
There's rumours of a contract dispute, which has come out of nowhere. I don't understand what's going on now. Clearly, honestly said no injury. I don't have the answer. He's our best centre-half.
Correct, which is why when he wasn't on the starting sheet, that was a bit concerning. I mean, Sanchez and Alderweireld are capable, not a problem. But
I literally have no answer. And for those who invested in Spurs defensively for FPL, the advice remains what it was pre-weekend.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, from my opinion, other than Harry Kane, there's no one at Spurs that I'm looking at the moment.
A lot of people like myself will now have Lucas, and there's a lot of debate in terms of where to go with that. I imagine we'll start with that 4-3-1-2 again at City at the weekend, because the difference between playing that formation with Villa, I'd said to you on the stream we did on the Friday night, I said best thing Villa can do is tighten up the game, narrow it, we'll have problems, and it's exactly what happened. Against City, it might work because what you need to do is spring quickly on them. And then with someone in the hole and Lucas's pace to go with Kane, is capable. You just let the three of them get on with it. It doesn't work at home to sides like Villa.
No. Talk to me a little bit about Villa, and mainly because I have a £5.5 million hole in my midfield in the form of Danny Ceballos,
and John McGinn should fill it.
Just is screaming at me. I really, really, really want an evidence-based decision on John McGinn based on your feedback rather than bandwagoning and just getting him because he scored and he's 5.5 million. I mean, I watched the game. That through ball that he put through was, I can't remember who he put it through to. It was Trezeguet. Was class. He was all over the place, right? Covering
really
ground.
Busy. Yeah.
Yeah. He just seemed like a good player.
The concern with him is there's going to be 1-0. He's going to get bookings regularly and stuff.
Right, okay.
He's a fiery little character. Fucking got some energy, I tell you.
Yeah.
Like they really struggled for fitness towards the end, and he was part of that, and they'll learn valuable lessons from how deep they got eventually in the game, Villa. But yeah, lively, instantly on my radar. And I liked Trezeguet as well.
Yeah.
The concern with that would be
right side wing.
Yeah, I don't know if he could switch to the left. Probably
inside right.
Probably a bigger threat than El Ghazi, I would say. But Jota could come into that team as well. So if you want to go in at that value, yeah, McGinn,
I think I might make that transfer this week because I don't see any reassurance that Ceballos is actually going to get any minutes.
But we've got Adam on Thursday.
Yes, correct.
So
I don't see McGinn's price going up. I mean, his ownership is low. It's really low. And he's had 54 1,000 transfers in so far.
That's a lot.
Which is a lot, but he's not due for a price rise. I also have $500,000 in the bank, so
I think he can offer value at 5.5, but it's high enough that you've probably got to stick him in the team every week.
he would be a starter.
Yeah.
He would be a starter for me. Cool.
Should we talk about your lot? Or do you just want to talk about VAR, which no one wants to hear?
Not really. VAR was odd. I don't give it too much attention when I'm in the ground. Like, it is what it is. I don't moan about it or get excited about it. But it was confusing. It had a big impact in the game. Like, 1 or 2 incidences is fine, but there was like 5.
Oh yeah, massively affected the final score.
So it didn't affect the final score in any way whatsoever.
Fucking know that.
But it could have. In the sense that we were 2-0 down when we had a chance. Like, if you go from 2-0 down to 2-1, the game does change. But if it goes from 2-0 to 3-0, then obviously it's a completely different story. But for the first 30 minutes, I was really enjoying the game, and I thought we played really well. To be fair, up until when they scored, we played with high energy. We were pressing them as best we could. We were playing intricate passing. We didn't have anything in the final third or 25% of the pitch, but everything before that was solid. Defensively, we were okay. But the challenge when you play City is in the head. It's psychological, because when we got the ball, we tried to play quickly because you feel like I'm going to have the ball for 20% of the match. When we've got it, we've got to do something. And so you start putting pressure on yourself. So you could see that we were trying to play it a little bit too quickly. Lanzini and Wilshere were wasteful. The amount of misplaced passes, when they were quite simple.
Was Wilshere playing?
Wilshere played.
Did he?
Yeah.
I watched the game.
Yeah, Wilshere played, and he was getting about a bit, but he misplaced a lot of passes. You're just having a pop at Wilshere. I'm honestly telling you, I'd rather have Wilshere than fucking Sissoko, the way Sissoko played at the weekend. But Lanzini and Wilshere misplaced a number of passes, which was just sloppy. But then City, doesn't matter what's going on, are just calm. You could just tell they're just chilling. It doesn't matter if it's 89 minutes and 0-0. They're just calm. Other teams, you don't psychologically have that advantage when you play with them. There's pressure to score. And that's what happened. They were just taking it easy. The first goal came against the run of play. It was one of those that punctures the balloon. It was just, now what do we do? But up until half-time, it was perfectly fine. We came out sloppy in the second half. Ironically, Johnny Pringle DM'd, or it was in one of the groups, he was still finishing his pint at half-time and missed the second goal. After that, third goal, then that was disallowed with VAR. And then the penalty and all the rest of that nonsense that went with it. Second half was sloppy, and it got progressively worse. We were progressively more tired and run down, misplaced, making more unforced errors. And I mentioned Lanzini as a culprit. I don't know why he took off Antonio at half-time for Fornals. And Antonio is always, when you're playing against sides that are very good, a really good out ball, because he can hold the ball up and he's strong. And he was the one that was, with his physicality, causing the most problems to City in the back. And he took him off at half-time. And I could see why, if he wanted more creativity and try and take some chances. But that took the pressure off City. And when Kevin De Bruyne wants to, he'll burst through and put it on a plate for Raheem Sterling. City, are just, they were rubbish in the first half, but they didn't need to be, right? Second gear, and then bang. I'm fascinated what happens with you guys, because admittedly you're a better side coming up against them, and it wouldn't surprise me if they beat you 3 or 4-0 based on this weekend's
City can do that to anybody at any time in any week.
It was disappointing because psychologically, like 4-0, 4-0, 5-0, 5-0 now, so 20-0 over 4 games. This was the first time that it didn't feel like a 5-0. For the first half, we gave them a decent game. The BBC write-up on the game it describes it perfectly, and it's City business as usual, and West Ham season won't be judged on this game. We're now going to Brighton away. This is such an important game.
Well, that's what
they're off the back of a real strong win, and they're going to be tails up, and we're going away there. And on paper, we should probably still win, but if we lose that, then we've got to really look and ask some questions.
Do you think he would change any of the starting lineup from what's gone to the Brighton game?
He may want to opt for Zabaleta over Fredericks. I feel like he picks picked Fredericks because of his speed and to try and close down Raheem Sterling, and it did work, actually, to be fair. He was quick and on it, just second half faded away. Fullbacks is our weakest position. Cresswell just doesn't seem to have the pace that he used to. He's a bit slow and pedestrian now.
Got absolutely burned by Walker on the first, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like
completely
over
overway
yards.
around him. I think it was funny. It was on the BBC website in that write-up, because that write-up, I often read stuff and I think that's a bad description of what happened. Theirs was actually very good. Like, Walker seems to have seen, oh shit, Cancelo's around the corner. I better fucking up my game, because he was up and down a lot. And obviously his first assist, first game of the season, he only got 3 assists last year, whole year. So, yeah, he got skinned there. I could see the fullbacks getting potentially rotated. He's going to stick with Rice and Wilshere. Lanzini and Anderson are going to play. Whether or not he starts with Fornals over Antonio, I'd rather he didn't. I'd rather Antonio played.
Really?
Yeah. On another note, you watched the game. I thought Haller is really settling in fast.
I thought his hold-up play was okay.
His touch is good. He's got a good touch for a big guy, as you'd say.
I don't see an FPL asset there at the moment. But I thought his hold-up play was
I think
fine.
you need to see him against someone other than City.
Of course you do.
His touch for a big guy is good. We had no set pieces.
The thing is, like, prior to the game, we all kind of, like, when we had Chris and Johnny on last Thursday, we kind of sitting there going, yeah, all right, there's a few there at West Ham, kind of Anderson, Fornals, Lanzini, don't really know where to go. Let's look after this weekend, and we'll look for game week 2, because it's the start of what looks a really good run of fixtures.
Yeah.
But Brighton's result and the way they played, and obviously what we covered off yesterday, makes you think, well, no, I'll wait another week. Like,
Exactly. I'm with you on that.
And that's
I would
the advice, isn't it, I think?
and wait another week. We could just as easily beat Brighton. I'm not worried. Haller, I think he's the player we need. Link-up play is good. His touch is good. He was getting about physically. And to settle into the Premier League that quickly, you could have easily got lost in a game like that. I mean, he was our best player.
He's in your squad. You're staying
Still
in?
is. Yeah, I haven't got... I'm not taking a hit to get him out. Just as easily see him returning. Remember, we had no set-piece action this weekend either. No, hardly any. Well, we might have had 2 corners.
I don't think you had a corner in the game.
Nah, and free kicks. So that can have quite a big impact. So just 2 or 3 corners against Brighton, and he's up there with his head and his noggin. So yeah, I mean,
against
he's staying
the likes
in for
of
now.
Duffy and Dunk. And
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Burns really tall as well.
I'm keeping him in. In for now. But yeah, he was a punt. I was not disheartened with the first half performance. Didn't feel like a 5-0. But we can't then let it be the first of a run of like stupid results, because Watford away after the next week is also not going to be easy.
Well, we don't know.
Based on their current results.
I don't know. Maybe it is now. They're on a slump, aren't they? Dating back to last season.
But I enjoyed the game overall. I thought it was pretty good. City.
Is it just Kane you've got from Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
no
Kane.
Thoughts to sell before City?
Who? Kane.
Yeah, because obviously the change to Aubameyang stares you in the face.
Yeah, I'd rather a change from Ceballos to McGinn is a long-term move. A change to Aubameyang is a short-term move.
I feel like maybe you should give Ceballos time.
Maybe.
They
did have so many youngsters in their lineup.
The problem with the Kane to Aubameyang move, it feels very much like I want to just make the exact reverse the week after.
Yeah.
And it's not like Kane's incapable of scoring at the
City.
weekend.
That's the thing.
But the early thoughts is he looks the best captaincy option this week. But then Burnley were impressive at the weekend. So how obvious is it? I don't know.
Yeah. On City, I mean, for what it's worth, Kyle Walker got the assist, but I thought Zinchenko played well. He was up and down the left flank, and I'm happy with the move that I made from Walker to Zinchenko longer term. So yeah, Zinchenko looked good as an FPL asset. Sterling is always Sterling. Mahrez played on the right. He played reasonably well. I can't see him. He might get rotated.
3 assists, mate.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be very surprised if Bernardo didn't play against us. Very surprised.
But I think Zinchenko was a good option at 5.5 versus the price of the others. Rodri is just a fouling little shit. But City do that. The way that how he got away with so many niggly fouls and then didn't get yellow carded, they do it all the time. Fernandinho does it all the time. When we got the ball to break in the first half, and he'd just break up play with a stupid niggly little foul, that was irritating the crowd a lot. That was a little bit cheeky. But then Pep does that. So I think you're right. When you need to, you said when you're talking about what Spurs need to do, break quick. You need to bypass him as quick as you can, because if you dilly-dally a little bit, let them get in and put their foot in, that's when they can break up play. So yeah, get it past the holding midfielders as quick as you can.
I think, honestly, we'll start with that formation that I don't like again at the weekend, but it's all right in a game like that.
Yeah, I agree.
If we play 4-2-3-1 against the other 14 teams in this league, we will finish third.
Oh,
bless you, Princess. If we play 4-2-3-1 against the other 14 teams, home and away, we will finish third comfortably. I fear that we won't.
And then VAR, for what it's worth.
Well, just briefly, how did you feel? Because was this your first experience of it?
First experience in the stadium with VAR.
Yeah, it's fucking shite, isn't it?
Yeah. What can you say? So, first goal, no question. That was a goal, straightforward. No VAR checking. I can't remember if they checked it even, but if they did, it was a formality.
We haven't got long. Don't go for every goal.
No. The second goal, the disallowed goal, from in the ground looked onside. And look, it was his arm, right? It was his shoulder and his arm. Whereas the goal that was allowed, that got checked, where he broke free, he was free on the penalty spot almost.
Originally looked miles offside. Yeah.
And we were wrong completely, right? Yeah. So that was a bit stupid. It was what it was. And then the penalty was probably the biggest kick in the teeth, because it was such a crap penalty and Fabi saved it. So I'm thinking, all of you guys who've got Aguero and then thought, oh, he's benched, but he's coming on for a 1-pointer, thinking now he's going to get a goal. It's now on minus points because he's missed the penalty, then got reversed and changed again.
Well, I'm going to the wife. She put him in, didn't she?
Flappy.
She loves Flappy, right?
Yeah.
I said, oh, babes, you've got a Fabianski penalty save. Yeah! No, you haven't.
And that was rubbish. That was the bit that was a bit...
But they reckon they did it because of Rice, not because of Fabianski.
Of course, yeah, Rice encroaching.
And apparently,
in the box.
interesting on that was because it went to Declan Rice, he had an impact on the... Whereas if he'd saved it and it gone the other way, it would have been all right. Because the rebound went straight to him, that's why it was retaken.
You can see, like, none of the decisions were wrong, but it was, a bit frustrating at that point.
About the time. The time is the issue for me.
Some were quick, some were fast.
When Kane scored his first goal on Saturday, the second goal with the little ricochet, I sit basically in line with the penalty area, up a tier. Similar to your view, just a whole postcode closer.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. When the shot was taken by Lamela, I knew he was really close to offside. Now, I thought he was all right because with the double ricochet, I assumed it was phase 2 anyway. So even if he had been fractionally off, the ball actually directed to him backwards off 2 deflections, finally off obviously a Villa player. So I thought it was all right. He comes celebrating in front of us and all I can see is the fucking referee with his fingers to the ear shit. And my old man's trying to jump on me and I'm like, wait, I fucking hate that. Stop taking it away from me. I was 95% sure that it was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But stop taking that away from me. I can't stand it. I'd rather just get mugged off, honestly.
Yeah. There was a period when it was 2-0 and then 3-0 and then back to 2-0 and stuff. You kind of lose track of where are we here? Are we 2-0? Are we 3-0? Am I supposed to be 2-0 and we're going to get back into this? Or
it's
actually,
understandable in a game like that. You would keep looking at the scoreboard unsure of what the score is, losing count potentially.
Yeah. I like that, but that's not true. It's more the mindset of can we get 3-0? We're never going to get back into it. 2-1, if we got nicked a goal, it's going to make the last 15, 20 minutes very different. I'm not against it. Like, I didn't feel like it depleted from my enjoyment of the match. In a game against City, and when they're scoring 5 goals, you're going to see VAR pop its head up a lot more. There were plenty of games at the weekend where VAR didn't raise its head.
Sterling's going to have a number of goals disallowed this year. A number.
Yeah, probably.
And owners should get used to that.
Yeah.
Because his movement from that wide position in behind...
Fast, man.
He's so rapid and his timing is almost perfect so often. He is going to be fractionally.
Yeah.
And so often I suggest you don't get overexcited about Sterling goals.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But you know what? Sterling was really good.
Wait,
just
hat-trick,
on it,
top drawer. When he gets into positions now, you feel like he'll score.
Definitely. So yeah, there we go. Looking forward to Brighton this weekend because that'll be a much better test of where we are as a club. but we need to up our game, especially in the second half and getting towards the end of the game, fitness and all the rest of it. We need to be doing better. There we go.
Prediction for City Spurs for the weekend.
I'm going to go with 3-0 or 4-0 to City, something like that. I think, yeah, they're just on it, man.
Yeah, we know they're capable.
Just on it. I just can't. Like, if Eriksen starts, I'll give you 3-1 or 4-1. If Eriksen doesn't play, you start with the same team, 3-0 or 4-0. I'm afraid.
I fancy a narrow Brighton win, probably 1-0.
Same as last season.
It was, yeah. Murray scored last year.
Same as last season. So
you should have got something out of that in the second half.
We should have last season, but let's see what happens this season. There we go.
All right, cool.
Let's wrap it up. That's TOT&HAM episode 2. Hopefully we'll come back to you next week without a 7-3 aggregate defeat. 6-3 aggregate defeat over the weekend. That's what happened to our
My
club,
team
mate.
won 3-1.
Tottenham, we had a 6-3 aggregate defeat. That's what happened, mate.
Listen, if we keep including you in my results, I'm going to finish like a mid-table team, aren't I?
Cute. Do stay tuned for the rest of this week. We've still got a Sky Fantasy Football show coming at you. We've still got Clash of the Correspondents with Adam Hopcroft and Neil, our Bournemouth correspondent, coming at you. And also a rundown on the game week deadline, the day before, because it's Saturday deadline this week. No Friday night football. Of the differentials, dead team and transfers that we're potentially looking at making. Anything else to add?
No, can't use Spurs.
Come on, you Irons.
The Fantasy Football Show.